Hey everyone, Mrhappy here, and welcome to Mondays with Mrhappy, aka Mrhappy Mondays, a weekly Q&A show where you ask me questions and I answer them. Like I said, it was going to be a really dry video month. I think this happened right around the same time last year. I don't know how it keeps happening around November, December-ish. But yeah, I'm taking a break from just a little bit of YouTube stuff, only because other than Melee Versus, which I promise is coming. I actually did some work on it the other day. But I've been taking this time to focus on me, do myself a little bit of a favor, get through all these games that have been coming out, and not even all of them. And it's been good for me. So Melee Versus is actually about 3/5 edited, but that was about a week ago that I last edited it. But that's like really the only video I have on the timeline other than a couple more State of the Realms, something related to the Game Awards, especially if there's anything 16 related. And then I still got to catch up on uploads over on the other channel. So it's just been a matter of doing me. And, you know, that's good for all of us every once in a while. So hopefully y'all understand. Speaking of understanding, sorry about the outro music popping up in the middle of the video last week. I realized it after, and I just figured I'd apologize for it this week because once it was already out there, it would have been probably another about 12 hours before I posted the new one. And I was like, it's not the first time it's happened. So sorry about that. That's not going to happen again this week. I promise. It's supposed to play in the last, I think, 35 seconds of the video, and I accidentally made it like way more than that. So my bad. Anyway, with that, there shouldn't be that many questions this week since the news has been super light. So we'll probably, I'm not going to say it. You guys always hold me to this every time. Every time I say it, I think it'll be short. No, it'll be a normal episode of Q&A. Anyway, with that, thank you to our sponsors over on Patreon. Thanks to our sponsors, SteelSeries, Advanced GG. And I have something to say about Advanced GG a little bit later, but only because I read through the comments a little bit ahead of time to see how long this would take. Anyway, with that, thank you to our sponsors on Patreon especially, and let's get started. All right, first question we have here, hashtag Mrhappy Mondays. Well met, Mrhappy. Hello, hello. Can you see yourself being a streamer or content creator for the rest of your life? I think it would be reckless to say that. I think that's what everybody who does something they like for a living likes to believe. You get into your 30s, which I'm getting into now. You get into your 40s. But like, yeah, some people are able to keep chasing those kind of things that they love for their whole life and make it something that can actually be a living. It's possible. It's been done in the industry before from people who started when the gaming industry was first getting started in the 80s and going into the 90s, and they're still doing stuff in the industry today. But I'm not a prophet. So what I like to, absolutely, is that what is going to happen? Nobody knows. So I take life as it comes, pretty much, and I'll do my best to keep sharing everything. But you never know. I just, like, again, I feel like it would be reckless. Like, absolutely, bro, I'm going to be 90 and I'm going to be making raid videos about patch 19.4 and the savage guy. Hey, everyone, Mrhappy here. Nobody knows. So I'm not going to live to 90. Let's be real. What other career? I'd probably move back into IT. I mean, that's what I was doing before this, you know, so I don't see why I wouldn't just do that again. Hashtag Mrhappy Mondays. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Hope it was a wonderful time. Yeah, we had some food. I'm doing everything to get through all this ham. We had a ham, and then we got gifted a ham. And so I froze some ham. I'm eating some ham. I'm making ham sandwich. And I'm even making ham jerky or pork jerky. It's so much ham, and I love it. Let's talk housing. Okay, what do you think that should be done to fix it? Why do you think the dev team hasn't done much other than apply band-aids? I can only imagine they spent millions on server hardware to watch the plots vanish in a short time. Wouldn't that money be better invested in engineering a permanent solution like instancing? It was built one way, and rebuilding it is essentially dev time that would massively delay other features of the game, because it is a fundamental at-core issue with the initial design. So even if they do spend that time, they're still going to spend a lot of money trying to do it, no matter how they do it. But it probably will never have a full-fledged solution just because of what the game is built with. What it was built on, what has been added to it since, what has been placed on top of that baseline. The odds of you ever seeing a widespread, complete rework of housing in this game, I think you have a better chance of being struck by lightning because of the sheer volume of effort that would have to go into it. You have to remember, even all of the code for all the furnishings, the indoor furnishings, the outdoor furnishings, they have to be coded in order to be used in a completely different area. And then that area has to be... Oh, man. There's almost nothing they can do. They have to Band-Aid fix it because the task of actually redoing it from scratch is... It's monumental, and it's not that they couldn't do it. It's that they won't. So, at least I don't have the confidence that they would because of the sheer amount of time and how much they'd have to delay everything around it. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. Hashtag Mr. Happy Mondays. Hello, Haps. Hope you and your family are well and enjoying the holidays. Thank you, and same to you. I had a gathering-related question I was hoping would be simple enough to answer, even though you do not do much gathering. I'm so nervous about not being able to answer this question. I recently maxed all my gatherers and bought gear to grind purple scripts to buy script gear. See, we're already beyond what I do. Then realized that HQ crafted and script gear have the same stats, except crafted is better because it lets you pentamelt. Yeah, that is the purpose. Okay, I do know the answer to this. Yeah, the whole point of the purple script gear is for people who don't want to spend a lot of money on crafting or gathering, and especially don't want to do all the overmelding and stuff. That is the purpose. It's just for the more casual gatherer and crafter. Nothing more to it. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hey, yo, happy haps. Hope you and your loved ones are doing great. Thank you, and same to you. Really enjoyed your favorite 5-mount video. Pretty emotional. Yeah, that was a wild one. I've always wanted to have your expert opinion on 2 questions. Well, I'm only an expert because you've called me an expert. So we'll see what I have to say. When I really like playing Bard, I tried, still learning, to learn the proper rotation and song cycle, but feel like I'm still performing poorly, refreshing my dot and be quick enough to click on procs being one examples. I feel like I clip on the job a lot and tend to sleep on song switching. Any advice? I mean, this is all just practice. Like, these are fun. These are what we call fundamentals. This is true of anything in life, not just Final Fantasy XIV. You need the fundamentals before you can master them. So you need to master the you need to learn the fundamentals before you can master them, and then you have to master the fundamentals before you can learn how to go further. This is a matter of practice and attention. And there's nothing more to it other than you have to just learn it. You have to internalize it. You can't just read about it. You have to internalize it. It's how you would learn anything, like if via school or a hobby, or that's just what needs to be done. And 2, in Savage raiding, how important are positionals? So I think positionals at this point amount to like 2% of your potency. I don't even think it's that. I think it's like 1.2% of your total potency, depending on the job. And so it's not that they're not important, because every time you miss a positional, it's like 80 potency, I think, on most jobs. 60 or 80, one of the two. But it's more important to keep the global cooldown rolling. The one thing you never want to do is not do a global cooldown because you were trying to get to the positional. The clipping of the GCD, the time you spend running over to that side to get the positional, you lose way more than just missing the positional. Also, True North can help you get a lot of those extra positionals, and it's really important to get these things down when you're doing week 1 Savage or week 1 Ultimate. Fresh, hardcore Ultimate proc. You want to have every edge imaginable for beating DPS checks in those particular situations. So I won't say it's not important, but I would say in the grand scheme of things, making sure your rotation is in the correct order is more important on bosses with positionals than hitting the positional. Hashtag Mr. Happy Mondays. Hello, good day, good evening. Hello, good day, good evening to you too. I just have 2 questions for you for a background. One, I run a raid team. I said, no, I said 1. I saw the close bracket and I said 1. I was like, that's a 1. No, it's not. I run a raid team and we tackle exclusively Ultimate and early Savage clears. Cool. After farming DSR for totems while maintaining split clears for Savage, the team is having a bit of a lull. Expected. Taking a bit of a break now, playing other games and organizing who wants to go into 6.3 as part of the team. 1, how do you manage burnout? Do you have any advice for people going into the next 6.3 Ultimate? I always tell people to just play less. That's how you manage burnout. Like, I'm not even burned out right now. There's just so many games to play that I've learned over time to just not force myself to play Final Fantasy XIV when there are other things coming out that I want to play. Even as bad as it is, I've been shiny hunting in Pokemon as of late, and that's my woosah, my de-stressor. It looks like I'm stressed when you watch me yelling at the game because of bad RNG, but in terms of like overall like life, it's like a woosah for me, and that's great. As for advice going into 6.3 Ultimate, I guess that's also involving burnout. Again, it's to get some practice in, make sure the team is all on the same page, but make sure there's a break period somewhere. Don't do all that for the entire 2-3 weeks leading up to Ultimate, because people are already going to be kind of not burnt out, but you're already kind of wearing them down before it even comes out, and you want everyone on the freshest imaginable, just as fresh as they could possibly be. That's how I want to say it. And 2, what would you say to someone who's lost it and needs to take a break as they affect the rest of the team? I mean, that's self-awareness. If somebody doesn't realize that they're just like, it's just not right for them at the time, there's a level of stubbornness that comes with that, especially for people who have gotten used to playing games at a certain level. Like, I'll give you a great example. I used to be competitive when it came to DDR and the groove, and I don't have that anymore. Like, I haven't played it much. You know, I don't have that same ability because I'm just so out of practice. So like I can generally keep up with things, but that's not the same as being able to perform at that level. And so obviously that's a little bit different than you've been playing and you don't have it anymore and you need to take a break. But that level of self-awareness to be able to say that about oneself is really important when it comes to tackling, sort of making the responsible decision to take a break. Now the big thing is it sounds like you want to tell this person that they're not performing to a level. And that's just, I always say, if you cannot have an adult discussion with somebody about their level of performance versus the expectation of the group and what the group wants, or what this doesn't even have to be about Final Fantasy 14. This could be about anything. They could be on a bowling team for all I care. Then that's an issue in and of itself. That shouldn't be that way. But I understand a lot of people do take offense when they don't, they know what they want, but they can't necessarily do what they want because they're not either putting in the effort or, again, they say they've lost it, as you said. So, I mean, there's nothing more to it. You just need to be able to tell somebody that. And if they can't take it, then what are you going to do? Most of us are adults at this point. You'd hope that you're rating with adults. And you just gotta be able to do it. I don't know what else to say about that. Hashtag Mr. Happy Mondays. Hi, Haps. Hi. Hope everything is going well. Same to you. I have 2 questions for you, so I'll try to keep them short. No, it's not that many questions this week, so I think you're good. What is the dev team's current stance on dots? Who fucking knows, man? They just keep getting rid of them, so they can't like them that much. I think the big thing is they realize that they stuck a lot of dots onto jobs to keep them busy with something, and they don't feel like they need to do that anymore. So they've been removing dots as a crucial part of design for a lot of jobs. Even if it's still part of a job's identity, like for Bard, they've removed any interaction that it has with other elements of the job. And that kind of, that's the weird disconnect they've created with their relationship with dots. And I get it. I get that you had a lot of dots in the game because you thought the game needed it in order for people to have to maintain something. But now you don't feel like you need that, so you're removing it because they felt tacked on in the first place. But something's been lost in the process, and I hope they realize that dots are okay and healthy to give a job as a form of maintaining their DPS. It doesn't have to be fully incorporated into everything they do to make it part of their identity. And I think if they've realized that, then Bard is likely to keep theirs. If they don't realize that, then I don't know what's going to have dots anymore. Like you'll have Gunbreaker and Paladin, I guess. And I don't know. Like I don't know what their criteria is for determining what is worth having a dot on. But I'd like to see them explore with bringing more of them back, because I think the game could do with more jobs that have that level of maintenance. That's not really asking for a whole lot, but it's asking for something. Anyway, with all the talk recently of damage variance, it seemed like a good way to distribute TPS. Yeah, that's another decent way. Forcing someone to maintain it, although that's, with the way the game is designed, you'd have to go back and lower potencies on a lot of other things to add more dots back into the game. And again, I think that's fine. And I think that does actually, as you stated, kind of approach the damage variance problem from a different aspect. So, it's a good outlook. I like your outlook on it. But I couldn't answer for the devs, unfortunately. Any other reason besides potential stress on the players? I don't know. I don't know. It could also just be that the way they work, the whole global clock, is maybe they're not satisfied with it. They haven't said that, but that's the only other thing I can imagine. And 2, what is the State of the Realm intro music? It's actually a custom song that I had made by Popsky. He's been doing a lot of 8-bit music for a long, long time. It's the first track that I've ever, I think that I've ever had him do. And it came out really good. I'm really happy with it. I wanted it to kind of have that Hyper Potions vibe to it, but it still needed to not be exactly like Hyper Potions, and I think he nailed that pretty good. Hashtag Mr. Happy Mondays. Hello, Mr. Happy. Hello. Hope you're having a great Monday. I'll let you know tomorrow. I recently decided to take on Blue Mage for something to do while friends are offline. I saw some comments from friends in FC that blue isn't useful and the content is pointless. Having fun with it, so it's time well spent. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on blue in general and maybe some things to do on blue for a newbie like myself. Didn't realize you can get into. Well, the raids are the big thing on Blue Mage because they do come with tangible rewards. The Stormblood raids do not yet come with a tangible reward, but there's a decent chance when they add Shadowbringers raids eventually and raise its level cap to 80 that it will get that. So you could be proactive about it and get all of the major raid achievements done for it. But they're kind of right in a sense. There isn't a whole lot to do. One of the most useful things, in my opinion, with Blue Mage is doing the weekly carnival for allied seals, because those allied seals can be turned into teleport tickets, and then you don't have to pay for teleports. So that's one thing that they're really, really nice at. It's 5 allied seals per ticket, so you can get a handful. You know, you'd get more from doing like the hunt and stuff like that, but it's just another little bit to add on. But yeah, other than that, it's really just to go through the achievements, get everything done. Maybe the individual carnival achievements like Octopus Traveler and stuff like that. So those are really the only things that I have to recommend. Blue Mage feels like wasted potential to me, and not wasted potential in that they could have made it a full job. Could they have? Yeah, I actually think they probably could have, should have, even if I enjoy Blue Mage, which I do. But they haven't explored even what this version, this limited job version, can do. Why don't we have a Blue Mage deep dungeon where Blue Mage goes in, they only know water cannon, and they have to complete the entire dungeon while learning the spells within, and they can only equip a certain number of spells based on their level inside? Like, why do we not have something like that? Why is that not even on the table? And I think it's because they probably think Blue Mage failed, in all honesty, and I can see why. And honestly, I think it did. Objectively speaking, even if you enjoy it, I think most people would agree, it's kind of a failed idea. And we'll probably never see another limited job again. So that may be why we don't see these things that would actually make it more interesting, because they've already determined that it's a sunken cost and that they should probably just leave it at that and not keep trying to save it. So it is what it is. We'll see if they ever do anything to it in the future, but I'm not super optimistic. Hashtag Mr. Happy Mondays. Good morning, Happy. Afternoon for me, but it will be morning when I'm saying this back to you. So, good morning. I hope you ate a lot of mashed potatoes. No, it's scalloped potatoes, actually, because fancy. I wanted to ask about the Astro rework. Well, you don't know much, but I'll see what I can do. Personally, I loved Astro the way that it was back in Heavens. Oh. Pulling skill speed and putting an extended timer on card and giving it to Monk. Why would you come in here and say curse shit like that? Why would you do that? Why would you think I'm going to be on your side by the end of this question when you start with that? You couldn't have been like, oh, you know, I really liked pulling for the, you know, the AoE buffs versus the extended buffs and time dilate. No, you went straight to skill speed Monk. That was the first place you went to. You knew damn well I was gonna rail you as soon as I read that. God damn it. Pulling a power card with an increased damage card on it and giving it to Black Mage. It was fun, but now Astro is so boring. With a player split down the middle, how do you think? You're never going to see old cards. Even no matter what they do to cards, you'll never see. I'll tell you right now, the skill speed card is never coming back. The spell speed card and skill speed cards, those are never coming back. And obviously neither are TP. Neither TP won't either. Maybe MP does someday. Who knows? Maybe they'll do something with that. But yeah, no. Well, no matter what they do to the cards, it will never be like the Heavensward cards again. Heavensward Light is as good as you would get, but even that, no, it's not good. It's not a good idea either, because it's going to be a disaster if they go back to anything even resembling that. So, yeah, I would like to see them bring more of the Time Mage stuff back, though. They kind of have. A lot of the stuff they have now is very Time Magey, so it's kind of reminiscent of them. And I'd like to see them, if we're never going to get an actual Time Mage, I'd like to see them go that route with Astro more. And I think that could be, maybe that could be part of its identity. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hello and good morning, afternoon, evening. Hope you and yours are doing good. Same to you. Just a quick question. Does people skipping ads affect how much you earn on your various platforms? Yeah, so the way ads work generally is when an ad first plays, even if someone's going to skip it, at the very least that ad hit is considered something. If somebody watches all of an ad, it does indeed improve the amount you earn. And if somebody clicks on an ad, then it's even better by very, very minuscule amounts, because the way that ad revenue is calculated is done per 1,000. It depends. Some is per million view, some's per 1,000 view. Most do per 1,000 view. Or there's so many different statistics for it nowadays that, yeah, honestly, I could totally make a whole video about it. It would be pretty nutso. Most YouTubers who are serious about their content are kind of aware of those different factors that go into it, but skipping an ad, yeah, somebody earns less, but nobody who does YouTube really cares. Nobody's out there trying to get people to watch all of the ad or to click on the ad or convert the ad or anything like that, because we just make content. We get paid to let YouTube do whatever they're doing with ads, and we just work around that because it's a monster to deal with, and we're just glad to be able to do what we do. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hey, Mr. Happy. Hope your day is going great. Same to you. I have a question regarding the threat meter. Okay. Obviously, tanks are on the top of it at all times with enmity stance is enabled, but aside from them, isn't it basically like a DPS meter? Yeah, a lot of people use it that way. The DPS wants to be third. Like being third on the enmity meter is a good way of determining where you are at in overall DPS. It's also a way of maybe getting a little bit, nervous sweat. Like if you're on Dancer and you're like 4th on the enmity meter, you should be very frightened. Like maybe during bursts, like during your first 2-minute burst or during like a later 2-minute, it's possible then that it happens. It's outlier damage. Maybe somebody has a bad crit run. Maybe you have a really good crit run, But yeah, it does work as a DPS meter light. It just doesn't tell you your actual performance, because let's say everyone in your group, all 4 of the DPS, are playing like shit, and you're one of them. I'm not saying you are, but like just for the example. And you're third, you're going to think, oh, I'm the top DPS, but you're the top DPS in that group. That's not necessarily an indication of skillful play. It's only relative to the people around you. So that's the one caveat with that. Now, other things do affect it. Healing and other things do affect it, but not enough after the first, 45 seconds or so for anyone other than a DPS to be third. You could even be second if the off tank doesn't need enmity and thus they haven't generated it. They haven't voked. They haven't gone into stance or anything like that. Yeah, you could be second also, but yeah, you very, very rarely see it be anything but tank, DPS, healer. And if it's anything but that, like if 5 minutes into a fight, then somebody better have died or something better have happened. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Heyo, Haps, you mentioned when T came out, you put out a recap lore video for Alexander. I also remember you put out a history of the raiding scene for Alexander and why T would mean so much to people because of it. Would you consider doing the same? I am already planning this. Yes. We're waiting to find out what the new ultimate is, and then yes, I do have this exact thing planned for it, so please look forward to it. Hashtag Happy with Mr. Monday. You know what? If anyone could be Mr. Monday, it would be me. I have a question regarding... Oh, we have our... You know what, though? You had a clever hashtag, but you forgot. You should have just put the hello in the hashtag. Could have saved... Man. I have a question regarding Savage content. Does Square Enix ever plan to incorporate the Squadron... No. I can answer that. You know what? I can't speak on behalf of the dev team, but I sure can answer that on their behalf. No. Savage content or NPCs for Savage content. No. If you really want to go back and do old Savage content, you can usually do an expansion or so back by doing unsynced on like a tank or something. Usually you want to go 2 expansions back for Savage, and even then depends on gear levels at the time and whatnot. But no, this will never happen. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Greetings and salutations. Good, you gave me one extra for the person before. Hello. What is your favorite overworld music from 14? Man. So overworld, I'm gonna make overworld specific to zone music, because you have like beast tribe areas that have different music, and I feel like, especially with the Omicrons recently, that's kind of cheating. Sorry, I knocked my controller over a little bit. Let me put it over here. I'm gonna go with Central Thanolin. I love the Phandelin theme, both day and night. The day theme is my personal favorite, but the night theme is really up there. Their favorite overworld and battle music from the entire franchise. I mean, one of my favorites is always going to be the Final Fantasy VI normal boss theme. I will say that there are a lot of unsung heroes, battle theme wise, in the Final Fantasy franchise. Some of them remixes, you know, World of Final Fantasy has some fantastic ones in particular. A lot of the offshoot titles, even the mobile games, have some awesome renditions of a lot of songs. For Overworld, you know what? That's really hard across the entire franchise because there's a lot of town themes and world map themes that all have these like really different vibes. But for Overworld, I'll assume we mean world map, in which case I kind of have to exclude a lot because then Final Fantasy 10 and 12, it's like, it's really hard to determine what an overworld theme is. Because like for 10, I would go for Zanarkand in most cases. And I feel like that's cheating. And I mean like end game Zanarkand, not, you know, early game Zanarkand with the with the prelude. So yeah, I don't know. That's tough. That's actually really tough. One last question. Are there any jobs you recommend for Frontline? I can't stand it, but it's great EXP. They nerfed Paladin, or I would have said that. They fixed it, I should say, because that was a really bad problem. I'd imagine Summoner is still, like, stupid good. Summoner and Scholar. I know they nerfed it because it was too dominant. So now you know what? Ever since they nerfed it, I don't know if it's ever... Because there was a point where it was, like, any of the melees, like Monk or Dragoon or whatnot, were really hard to deal with. Yeah, I don't know, because I don't know what they... I remember what it was when it was the Summoner Scholar show, but I don't think that's the case anymore. I mean, Monk is always a nice, easy choice if you want to try to force some kills with the limit break, even after some of the nerfs that it's taken. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that, but I don't think that's the best answer. I don't know enough about Frontlines because I don't really do it that often. So I was going to try that for my answer. Much love and well wishes to you and yours on the holiday season. Hey, same to you. I think we have like 1 or 2 questions left. Like I said, there aren't too many, but I do have some comments to go over as well. Hashtag Mr. Happy Mondays. Hey, Haps, how's it going? Hi, it's going great. I was wondering if there's anyone who does a legacy of a job style. There definitely is. And so this is similar to last week's question about lore. I do not keep up super well with YouTube 14 content because when I'm done for the day, because I'm so much like into 14 when I doing all of my content, the last thing I want to do in my spare time is watch more 14 content. So like these are the kind of things like there's videos, there's that one person who does the video where it's every skill from like 1 to, you know, I think they did it for Shadowbringers and the most recent. The only thing is like, for example, I have old videos on those jobs, but it's not like how the job was versus how it is now, which sounds like more what you would want. Yeah, class history from a design and raid viability. Man, I don't have that solid of an answer, but you know what? I've been thinking about doing something like that, but getting a proper documentation of every job is a little tough. But yeah, maybe I get around to that finally. I am looking for stuff to fill this kind of dead season, so maybe once Pokemon winds down a bit, I get to that. So yeah, I'll keep that in mind because I'm certain that exists, but I could do it because I don't know. So, and I have my own perspective on everything as well. That's kind of what my YouTube channel is based off of. So, keep an eye out. I might try some of that with some jobs, at least jobs that I feel more confident speaking about in that regard. All right, I think this is the last question. I have to double check, but you'll know if I answer another question after this, then you'll know. Hashtag hello, happy Monday. See, you put the hello in the hashtag. That was smart. And then you said good day anyway. So you can lightning around this. I don't have to. Just wondering if you're interested in reading or buying the 14. I have them. They're back. Where are they? I think they're there. No, they're not there. No, those are the Final Fantasy 11. Yeah, I think they're there. I think they're on one of these 2 bottom shelves. Yeah, I have them. We've done episodes on them on State of the Realm. We've even made a couple videos about them. There's 2, and they're working on a 3rd one. So, oh, hi Ivy. You want to come? You kind of want to come for the end of the video? Hi. There you go. Yeah, no, I've done them. They're really good. I would highly recommend them. Absolutely. Yeah, isn't that right, Ivy? Look, the question goes away. Look, look. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. There you go. She's actually somewhat okay with belly rubs. She doesn't like them for too long, though. There she goes. There she goes. Now she's trying to stop it. Anyway, let me check to see if that was the last question or not. Okay, yeah, that was the last question. A lot of happy episode 420, yeah. So there was one comment that I saw regarding the fact that we have the Advanced GG sponsorship that I said a long time ago. I must have been, no more than probably 2-3 years ago at the earliest, I think. How I don't usually do sponsorships. In fact, I think I mentioned this when I first got my Advanced GG sponsorship, and might have been a weekly Q&A. Yeah, so so a long time ago I said I don't really do the gamer drinks very often because they often I often feel like there's a lot of placebo involved and whatnot. But there's one key thing that I also said when I first got the Advanced GG sponsorship. It's that a lot of people like these products. A lot of people think these products work for them, say they work for them. For me, I just didn't trust a lot of the companies back then. We've seen a lot of issues with companies like this. Advanced GG, I got out of my way to do my research. They're very transparent about the ingredients and everything. And the big thing for me is that they have an option that has no caffeine. I drink a lot of coffee. That's like a big thing for me. So the hydration formulas are the ones that I largely do, because there's mostly things in there that you can find in pretty much any sort of vitamin or hydration formula style thing. And I really enjoy the flavor. I really enjoy that. But yeah, no, that's definitely something I had concerns with a long, long time ago. And why I wouldn't do things like that was because I was concerned about the ingredient list, transparency, and the overall effectiveness of the product. But again, a big thing is that a lot of people really do like products like this. They like energy supplements. They like focus supplements. And they take them, they drink them. What I will always say, no matter if I'm sponsored by Advanced GG or I'm working with any other company in the future, who knows what the future ever holds. I don't plan on stopping Advanced GG because, again, I've been really enjoying the hydration formula in particular, is always to not over consume. Yes, there are warnings on the label. Do not consume more than X amount and X and Y amount of time. Please, if you're supporting the stream by buying Advanced GG, you're buying the energy formula, the focus formula. I have a starter pack, by the way. It comes with a Mrhappy sticker. I'll put that right here, an image of it, and a link in the description. That comes with a few samples as well as a shaker and a Mrhappy sticker. I just recommend you follow what it says. Have maybe 1 or 2 a day, and I mean in terms of scoops, depending on your caffeine tolerance. And just be responsible. That is a big, big thing for me. That's all I'm asking of you, please. But if you enjoy supplements like that, Advanced GG has been fantastic. They've been a fantastic company to work with. I've drank the energy supplements. I've been going through the focus one. I've had 4 a.m. wake ups. So this one in particular, the blood orange for Halloween, that one's actually been helping me quite a bit when it comes to those early morning wake ups once I get something in my stomach. So that's what I wanted to address because I think that's a completely fair thing to call out, and I am 100% able to address that and talk about it because, you know, that's just what I do. We don't shy and hide away from things like that. We make sure tackle that one head on. Anyway, with that, thank you for watching this video. If you have questions, ask them for next week. Listen, I'll try to get Melee Versus out. I'm not gonna say it's gonna come out, but I'm gonna work on it this week. I promise. Listen, I'm really enjoying doing me right now. Okay, that sounds wrong. I'm really enjoying myself. That doesn't sound great either. I'm gonna stop. Be sure to ask your questions in the comment section of the video below. Like, favorite, subscribe, and share. Thank you to our sponsors over on Patreon. You all rock. You don't have to support. All my content is for free here on YouTube. Ivy's here to tell you all about it as well. Isn't that right, Ivy? Yep, there she is. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so, and thank you to our sponsors, of course. Advanced GG, Steel Series. They've been treating me super well. By the time you guys see this, I think HelloFresh is done, so I'm not gonna. That one's gone for the time being. Probably have it back at some point in the future. You know how it is. We get that sponsor money. Yeah, there you go, Ivy. So, thank you for watching. The outro music should have started already and not in the middle of the video. And I will see all of you for the next week of Mondays with Mr. Happy. Until then, y'all have a good one.